There is a sixth dimension beyond that which is known to man. A multiverse as vast as eternity, as timeless as the Infinity Gems. It is the middle ground between the big two and the indie publishers, between sci-fi and mysticism, and it lies between the pages of the reader's imagination. At the summit of entertainment, the dimension of comics, where a humble service is held. We call this service the Gospel of Comics.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Gospel of Comics. I am your host, the Church of Failure, and with me, as always, is my trusty co-host, Ayrton McCartney, who is uniquely naked tonight, apparently.
Just don't stand up.
That is
Just
not.
don't stand up.
That is not what my name says.
With us in the virtual studio tonight to talk about his upcoming project, Captain Love, is Mr. E, or Drew Love on Twitter. I think your actual name is in the campaign, but I know you as Mr. Drew Love.
My actual name is that it's confusing. That's how that's it. I'm sorry, everybody. It's just confusing.
It's okay.
I used to So
You're
I can explain it, but it's
you don't have to. You're on a show hosted by a literal building as a transformer. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the whole lore of the Church of Failure.
So when you say a literal building as a transformer, I mean, no, so you're saying that like this is like when you say literal, do you mean like it's actually written that way?
Yes, sure.
Or do you mean like literal, like actually like literal?
I'm using it just incorrectly. Like I'm lying to people. I'm not an actual building, but that's who my character is. So. No,
now I'm disappointed. I was imagining this big, huge building, talking to me,
Yeah, he's a trans building.
That's right. Yes.
Okay. So do we just call you like a building tranny? Is that what you are? Like a
yeah. Why? This is my show. How does it open up being insulting to me?
I wasn't insulting you.
I'll have you know I gained independent sentience, sir. Anyway,
well, I'm not trying to insult you, but busting your balls is my game.
Oh no, absolutely. That's what the show is all about. That's right. Believe all buildings. Go ahead and introduce yourself for those that are watching or watching the replay later on, in case they might not know who you are.
Yeah, I am Drew, also known as Mr. E. The E actually comes from my last name. So if you look at my comic book and my campaign, you'll see that my name is Drew-ish. It's pronounced as if it was spelled I-S-H. So if that wasn't confusing enough, I have a stage name that I used when I was doing YouTube and some film stuff as Love, where actually that's where Captain Love's name came from. Initially was that I actually had it as my own stage name at one time, and I liked it, and it got applied. And that's another long story in itself. But all that confusion aside, I'm Drew. It's nice to talk to you guys. I make comic books and shit like that.
After all of that, I still don't know who you are.
Fantastic.
So welcome to the show.
No,
you still don't know who I am? Damn.
I mean, we could.
I hate failing.
Well, you are here because you have your second project for the Captain Love character. So, how? First off,
yes, indeed. Yes,
a lot of the early guests we got were doing their first campaign. It's not often that we get a guest that has completed a campaign on to talk about anything other than that campaign. So, how was it running an Indiegogo campaign? For the first
how about a guest that's completed? How about a guest that's completed 2 campaigns?
Oh shit!
And the second one happens to be in fulfillment, like the next week when mailing starts again. Because that's where I'm at now. Because Chapter 1's books are now bagged and boarded. That they are ready to be sorted and mailed the hell out.
Okay.
I will say though, we have gotten at least one creator to completion on this show.
So I'm sure we've gotten a couple of creators to completion.
Now, what exactly do you mean?
Don't worry about it.
No, there are what he's saying.
What kind of creator are we talking about?
One guest that we've had was funded on our show. So that like their funding was completed out on our
Oh,
show.
I got you.
We
I
got
got
them
you.
across the finish line. But
Oh, okay. That's a lot less sticky than what I was thinking.
yes. It's a lot less sticky than I'd like to imagine as well. So we'll just move on right from that. Let me get the campaign pulled up here. But how was the what's the process like? Is it becoming more streamlined now that you've got 2 completed campaigns under your belt? Like, do you have the kinks worked out? Do you think for your particular niche?
It's rude to ask about people's
Shoot,
kinks,
man.
Church.
Yeah, as far as my kinks, I'll never get my kinks worked out, man. I'll never get them worked out. As far as the campaign goes, it is getting easier, but at the same time, it's not. You know what I mean? At the same time, it's just as hard as ever because you see, like, the easy part is that you've already reached a lot of people. You know what I mean? So like, there's already people out there who are familiar with you and they're aware of you and that kind of stuff. So that level has been achieved. So then you can easily market to those people again.
Right.
However, you still want to find new people. You know what I mean? So that challenge always exists. And then you see that all the low-hanging fruit's been picked. So now you're like looking for higher branches. So it's actually more work in a way. You know what I mean? So I would say it balances out, but it's still a lot of work.
Okay. There we go. Finally, it acted like the browser didn't want to load. I was gonna curse Ayrton for cursing me because I cursed earlier. So you're saying that basically the pressure of trying to outdo yourself every time is really the hang up at this point? Like trying to reach a larger audience, trying to figure out how to market differently and to capture the people that don't know about you yet, that kind of thing.
I would say that is part of it for sure, definitely. Trying to outdo yourself is one way to talk about it. I mean, obviously, I look at it differently. Like, I look at it as trying to create a self-sustaining business.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then after I achieve the self-sustaining business, I would like to turn it into a profitable business.
Right.
And then one day actually be able to make a living where I do nothing but write and produce my own crap. You know what I mean? Then I think that's everybody's actual goal. You know what I mean? Some of us are more business minded than others. Some people are just like, I just want to make comic book. I don't care. And the truth of the matter is they want to be rich comic book rock stars.
Right.
You know what I mean? To me, it's not even about the comic book. To me, it's about telling the stories. The comic book is just one medium. I would like to have Captain Love on several mediums. I'd love to have a Captain Love video game. I'd love to have a Captain Love movie. I'd love to have Captain Love series, you know what I mean? Cartoon series even or something, you know what I mean? Right. I would love for all that stuff to happen at some point. So like I don't look at
lunchbox.
Captain Love the lunchbox. Yeah. The love box.
Oh man, that's good.
I dated a girl in high school with her nickname was the Love Box.
I bet you did, Panama Red.
Yeah, I saw a movie called The Love Box once. Just saying.
Every time I read Captain Love, I just think about Mick Foley's origin. I don't know if you have any ties to professional wrestling whatsoever, like as an entertainment venue, but Mick Foley is a very prolific professional wrestler and is iconic for having multiple like personas that he would just switch between, almost like Bray Wyatt does these days. And one of his personas that he developed when he was actually like a young man doing backyard wrestling and stuff was
you're talking about Dude Love.
Dude Love, yes.
Dude Love. Yeah.
And that just kind of, that was the era that I grew up in. So I mean, I've just always had a soft spot for that character. And
yeah.
When I see Captain Love, I'm like, okay.
I'm probably a little older than you because my era was more Roddy Piper and Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? So.
How old are you?
The Junkyard Dog. I'm in my high 40s.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you are just a bit older than me. I'm in my mid 30s, so not. But I mean, it's a decent stair step on the panel then, because Ayrton's in his late 20s. I'm in my mid 30s. You're in the high 40s. I mean, we've got the range here, so everyone on the panel can attest to. Once you hit 14, it doesn't matter. You stop growing up at that point. Your toys just get more expensive.
Well, let's
12. Let's be real. It's 12.
It doesn't matter.
Well, no, I say 14 because we only talk about fart jokes with other men after 14.
Okay, fair.
Speak for
Fair.
yourself.
Have any of you like?
You know,
drank so much
you
and
guys,
then ate it?
like, I don't know if I know one of you. I know one of you is married. You got to be familiar with the Dutch oven. That's a fart joke that comes on much later in life.
Oh yeah, definitely. But see, once you're married,
I mean-
you can get away with all the fart jokes because they're just stuck with you.
Right. Now,
I mean-
have any of you guys drank so much beer
Literally.
and then ate a bunch of Taco Bell and had to have a cesarean fart? Because man, that's painful.
No.
No, but I'll tell you what. Some of the funniest farts are like if you are living on a tight budget and you're trying to like also keep a calorie intake, a natural fat intake, and at the same time have a lot of protein intake, you're gonna eat bean and beef burritos,
Hmm.
a lot of boiled eggs,
Yep.
and a whole bunch of fruit: strawberries, blackberries, boysenberries, blueberries. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Now,
and greens
just-
too. The
Right.
greens
that's-
like spinach and shit like
yeah,
that.
the green broccoli, and yes. And so, if you can just imagine the explosive series that comes along with that, it's quite a bit of flatulence. The eggs create the extra sulfuric smell.
Mhm.
It is repulsive on
You
another
have your
level.
own personal hole in the ozone layer at that point.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. You're contributing to the ozone layer damage at that point.
You. I went on this just massive weight, and I know this is completely off topic, and I apologize, but I went on this massive like weight loss thing.
Oh well, wait. Are we still on topic? What topic are we supposed to be on? Fart jokes? Is that what we were?
I mean, I think we were talking about something about comic books. This is the gospel of the farts now, I guess. But no, I went through that same thing right before my first daughter was born. I went down from like 300 pounds to $170, and that's pretty much, you just listed off what my diet was. It was grilled chicken, grain rice, bean and beef burritos, boiled eggs, chicken wings when I could afford them. Um, a lot of spinach and anything that just had as few carbs and as much protein as possible that I could afford at that time.
Mhm.
So
Right.
I remember those days. Now I have 3 children. and
Eggs are really
I'm
cheap.
just fat
Eggs are
again.
really
So-
eggs are really cheap and a great source of protein. But boy, when they come out as gas,
Mhm. Yeah, but you can weaponize that, in an office setting or whatever. But anyway,
yeah,
retail
I have
side.
dust. I've laid a few dust clouds, like say walking through Walmart for people I didn't like. I can
crop
No,
dusted a
my
few times.
favorite one.
a few times.
So my favorite one, one of the owners of my company, to one of the managers, he farted in a sealable glass jar that people store their weed in, and then resealed it, and then said like, "Oh man, it smells like somebody had weed or something in here." So she picks it up and unseals it and takes a big old whiff.
Yeah. No. You know what you do is the same concept, but instead of it being, you don't need a weed jar. You can just write "Don't sniff this" and stick it
Oh,
on
yeah.
a Post-it note. Stick it on the top of that jar.
true.
Guaranteed, someone's gonna open it up and sniff that. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a comedian back in the day. I think it was like Jeff Foxworthy or something, and he had an entire bit about how men will literally get together and compare bad smelling things. Like, oh my
Oh,
God,
yeah.
something died in this gym bag. Hey, come smell this.
And then, like
Yeah.
a dumbass, you get up and go smell it.
Yeah. So
Actually, that would be difficult to get me to smell something like that. Just because I've smelled some pretty repulsive stuff. It's like okay, that smells bad. I'm gonna pass.
but on your campaign here, you got your intro video. I'll load that up and we'll go through that, and if it'll come up on screen here. Come on. I don't know why this browser just doesn't want to work anymore. Yes, remove it.
I don't know. You were saying
Another
something
one.
about having throttled internet.
No, it's OBS. OBS wants me to update it so badly it can taste it, but I don't wanna because I like everything the way it is.
Oh, right. And you're using the browser. Yeah, the browser in OBS is kind of crappy anyway.
Oh no! Stop it! Stop it! I'm not. I don't want you to play yet. You guys can't hear it, but the video started playing. All right, so I've got the intro video loaded up. I'm gonna start it on all double zero. You want to link Ayrton? Drew, you've probably seen it before, I assume.
I got it.
Okay, but
I have seen it actually.
you've seen
I
this
would
once or
hope
twice
so.
before. But let me know when you got it.
I have a
ready
few
to-
times, yeah.
Ready to roll, Ayrton, and we'll roll this
I'm
for
ready.
the audience. Okay, all right, we're gonna start it in 3.
I'm good. Anytime you're ready.
2, 1, play.
Hi, my name is Drew Ish, and I'm the author of the Captain Love series. Well, I'll tell you all about the second book, Rise of the Pirate King. Yeah, that's a thing.
Do you have the audio?
And in this book, you're gonna get everything that you would expect from Captain Love.
Yeah, you just can't hear it.
Yeah, you
Just-
bet. And I'm blessed enough to be able to use the same creative team. You know what I mean? If you feel like the universe is caving in, you need love to the rescue.
I hate you for
And
this,
it
by the way.
seems like nothing
This
will be
I'm gonna pause it at 47 seconds. The love to the rescue thing that's been stuck in my head for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
it's
you're welcome.
it's
You're welcome.
It's catchy as shit.
I hope
and
it
you
never
get
goes
really-
away. I hope it never goes away.
I do too, to a certain degree, because I will always hate you for it. But that's one
And
thing
he
that
runs off of hate.
Yeah, I do hate tapes like the 1950s Luthor bot. Anyway, let's finish this up. Another 2 minutes to go. 47 seconds right now.
right again. You need love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. All right now. Now, Captain Love is a space trucker and a former war hero. There is even a legend that he may be immortal. He is accompanied by Spade, who's a living AI. Yes, I said immortal. As in, he cannot die. And if it feels like the universe is caving in, you need love to the rescue. And it seems like nothing will be right again. You need love to the rescue. Yeah, love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. All right now. In this book, you'll get space pirates, sexy girls and science monks. There'll be bar fights, space battles, and a lot of awesome junk. There's nudity and violence and swearing within, so this book is mature. That means it's not made for children. And if it feels like the universe is caving in, there'll be love to the rescue. Yeah, and it seems like nothing will be right again. You need love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. Thank you so much for your time. Please back Captain Love. The book is going to be awesome. Rise of the Pirate King is just the second in an adventure heading forward for many books. Thank you for your time.
All right, now, just
So the only thing that song was missing was you going guitar solo and then just going like.
now,
What-
The only thing that
in all reality, that was just me and an acoustic guitar. There's future more versions of that song to be released yet. So
oh man, I'm gonna have to proof those for you because that's something's got to get this original earworm out and replaced with the new one. But it actually says in your campaign when you look at the team and it talks about the author and creator, it says Drew Ish, which first off I have to say, how many times have you heard jokes about a certain Middle Eastern denomination in association with your name?
You mean Armenian with my name associated? You know
Oh,
that you mean?
yeah,
I
yeah.
went to I went to I went
Definitely
to
not
I went to
Israelites.
yeah I I went to a high school here in Fresno, California that is probably like maybe a third Armenian as far as like just because we had a large Armenian culture here.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
and
no.
ES, just for anybody who doesn't know,
I
go
was
ahead.
actually making.
I'm curious about what you have.
I was making a reference to, Drew-ish is your name, and Jew-ish.
Oh, Jewish and Druish. No, I've had that joke quite a bit.
Okay, yeah.
Are you ticklish? No, I'm Druish. Those jokes are old as hell. I was at, but this is, but like so like the word ESH in Armenian means jackass.
Oh, okay. So you're a jackass with an
Nice.
extra.
So
A.
they would intentionally mispronounce my name instead of be ish. They would say esh because esh means jackass.
Yeah.
In Armenian. So but that was it was lovingly ball busting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, there's
You
a
know,
reason
They
that
liked me.
Get away
They
with
liked me.
back then.
So
there's a reason that Gen X and Gen Y have thicker skin than millennials. you actually had to deal with the shit, and
yeah,
teachers would tell you not to
this is true.
tattle when we went to school. Like now they thrive on that bullshit. But
Snitches get stitches, motherfucker.
now under the author and creator, it says Drew-ish, writer, musician, and marketing professional. So this was kind of a perfect gig for you. Being in marketing and being a writer. Marketing on Indiegogo, do you feel like it was fairly easy to do at least your marketing campaign, having the skills from outside of just learning how to do it by the seat of your pants?
Honestly, I would say that the Indiegogo experience has been a unique marketing experience because it has been probably one of the heaviest lifts for for a good product. I mean, like having a shitty product is a heavy lift no matter what. You know what I mean? Marketing a crap product is really hard to do. But like for a not crap product, this has actually been the hardest lift. It could be like they say, like you're like when you're so close to the project, maybe you're too close to it, you can't market it well. That might be it, but I don't think that's it. I actually think that it's the nature of marketing an independent comic book for an Indiegogo audience is difficult. You see, I've learned a lot. I mean, like before when I got started, there was a lot of not information available. That information is still basically not available, but you learn it from experience. Like for instance, Indiegogo will only feature your campaign for a week or two in the arts area on the for the comic books if you have a good out the 48 hours, a good out the gate in a 48-hour period. Really, the first 24 hours is what they really care about, but they do measure all 48. And then so like you have an opportunity to be found through them that way. Also, you might get out in an email or two that way. As far as beyond that, you really have to like draw attention to yourself because the browsing feature and all that kind of stuff is not very user friendly, nor is I would assume it's very used because of the way that it's designed. If it was used frequently, I would think that it would be designed differently from frequency of use. You know what I mean? Like people would be well, I mean, I'm sure you guys have browsed. You know, what I mean, you guys probably like me. You probably have experienced Indiegogo enough times to where you just go and search the project you're looking for and get
yeah,
it.
but I wouldn't assume that your average Joe Smo does that. Like your average person sees a campaign link in a YouTube video or a Twitter post, and they're like, "Hey, I like this guy. Let me check out his book."
Well, yeah, that is the more common successful marketing avenue. Where I was going with that is like Indiegogo's built-in marketing sucks ass.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
Their counterpart, the counterpart to Indiegogo obviously is Kickstarter. Kickstarter obviously has like 8 times the audience. You know what I mean? And their browse feature is a lot more friendly. You know what I mean?
Right.
It actually kind of it's designed to encourage you to click on some things to, and if you're looking for something, you don't have to search for it. You can find it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
And one complaint that I have
it doesn't mean
is,
they have other issues, but yeah.
well, one complaint that I have for
Go ahead.
Indiegogo,
Sorry.
and it's by all means interrupt the shit out of me. I don't mind. But no, I'm serious about
Oh
that.
yeah.
That wasn't
So,
snide. But no, but Indiegogo,
I
their
like this guy.
website's just like entirely too clinical for me. Like it just seems too sterile. You know what I mean? Like there's just not a lot of pizzazz
Yeah.
to it. Like you can build up your own campaign page, but just if you go to Indiegogo.com, there's not a whole lot there that makes you want to stick around and explore the actual website. So it feels like you're already on your own as far as when it comes to marketing anyway, unless you're, one of these $1 million campaigns that breaks, $200,000 in one day.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to the game. You know what I mean? I keep discovering more like levels to this.
Right.
The truth of the matter is, if you're approaching this strictly as a marketer, Kickstarter is a much better platform than Indiegogo. If you're approaching it as a marketer, if you're approaching it as, okay, what's the best platform for my product, then you have to gauge your product. Captain Love is a mature comic with a male protagonist who is a bit of a sexist. People want to say misogynist, but he's not a woman hater, so he's not even a little bit misogynist. But he is a sexist. You know what I mean?
Chauvinistic, maybe.
He loves
Yeah,
women.
well, yeah,
Maybe a little too
chauvinistic
much.
to some degree. Yeah. Well, the truth of the matter is that he's really a romantic, because I mean, if you read the first book, he's in love, and his heart belongs to a girl that's dead. You know what I mean?
Right.
So and then it's not like he doesn't hunt down ass. You know what I mean?
Well,
He's easily distracted by a hot chick throwing herself at him, and then he's
who is?
famous. You know what I mean? He's famous. He's the hero of the cleansing. You know what I mean? He's famous. So chicks are throwing themselves at him. Plus, he's fucking, he's built like a fucking,
brick shithouse.
Yeah, well, exactly. He's
That's
fucking,
the
he's
term
fucking,
in the South.
ripped and yeah.
But
I just, a brick shithouse doesn't seem like an attractive place. It just, it's like.
Oh no! I mean,
like, I want to go to a brick shithouse. Damn, give me that brick shithouse. Woohoo!
I mean, it's like, better than a wooden one.
It's a very specific aesthetic.
It's better than a wooden one. I'm just saying. But no, I mean it.
Okay, I got you.
But no,
strong and sturdy. Yeah, I understand. I'm familiar with the song by she's a brick
house.
You know what I mean?
Just like you like it.
So I'm not completely oblivious to the metaphor, you might say.
So, shit, man, you are a really.
But anyway, I guess what I was saying.
Time is flying entirely too quickly.
So the thing I was saying though about Love is he tends to be he has girls that come on to him like all the time, and he just basically goes with it. You know what I mean? He's still a guy. Penis pleasure is still penis pleasure.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a hot chick is still a hot chick. You know what I mean? So, but his heart isn't in it. You know what I mean? His heart is not in it because his heart still belongs to the girl that it was dedicated to, and then he was, there's the whole voodoo priestess thing going on, voodoo goddess thing, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's possible supernatural like entanglements involved with where his heart belongs. So he's more or less, stuck. Now, if somebody could break that spell, that'd be great, right? So that's something to think about possibly long in the future. So,
yeah,
I dig it.
And one of the things in your campaign, and this is fairly unique. You don't see this a lot. Like, obviously, when you think comic books and crowdfunding, a lot of people's first go-to is going to be Cyberfrog, and Cyberfrog has always been marketed as like a 3-book series. And then there may be more Cyber Frog later on, but it'll be a different 3-book series. Now, what you've got,
Maybe with some hamsters jumping in there.
we don't know anything about that, Ayrton. I definitely have not had Don Chen on the show.
Just speculation. Just speculation.
But you're already advertising that Captain Love is going to be a 6-book series. Now, did the original Captain Love campaign feature into that, or was that just like an introduction one-shot type deal?
Okay, yeah, so the first book, Hero of the Cleansing, was written to be a one-shot. It's like 0 in the series. It's like 0 in the series. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's volume 1. It's 0 of the series.
Okay.
Rise of the Pirate King is volume 2, which is 1
Chapter
through
1.
6 of the, which is chapter 1. No, chapter 1 is just 1 of 6 chapters that are Rise of the Pirate King.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right? Okay, so chapter 1 is actually the Dark Figure. Chapter 2 is the Secret Station, which that campaign will be launching sometime next month.
Oh man! So
I like it. Damn,
and
like a fucking Clydesdale.
You have an amazing deal on your campaign as well. 6 books plus the graphic novel, 7 books, including a stretch goal inclusion, domestic shipping, a thank you, and your name in the book for $100 USD on this campaign, and that locks you in to get the complete chapter 1. And that's something unique that I haven't seen.
The complete volume 2. You're getting chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6,
right,
and the compiled volume, and the complete volume 2. Yeah,
right. The complete Rise of the Pirate King, and that answers my second question.
Yes.
Is obviously the one shot isn't going to be available in that particular bundle. However, is there going to be a future time, like say you run out of copies of the 0 issue? Is there going to be a reprint of that in the future, or a way to get that in an anthology later on?
Well, right now I still have issues. Okay, so like volume 1, right? There's a Vinny Tartamella. There was a Vinny Tartamella volume 1 variant on this campaign that just got removed yesterday, I believe.
Okay.
Because the printing has come in, you know what I mean, and the obviously the limit that there's only 100 copies of that variant,
right?
You know what I mean. So I didn't want to put it out there and let someone buy up more copies than I had left. So there's a limit. So now if I put them out there, they're going to be at a higher premium because you missed out on the first round of it. And I'm going to do them like maybe 5 or 6 at a time. You know, like maybe 5 on each of the following campaigns. So I'll put 5 of them available. You know what I mean? So you'll get 5 available to you each campaign for like chapters 2 through 6. You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Yeah. And I mean that. Yeah, that makes complete sense.
But then also, the Hero of the Cleansing, the first printing of the Hero of the Cleansing, and the variant cover of the first printing of the Hero of the Cleansing is still in demand on Indiegogo. You can still get that book right now, either cover for $20. That includes the shipping if you're in the United States, and that'll ship immediately. You know what I mean? That is still in demand as we speak, and it will be in demand as long as I still have first run books. When first run books are gone, that will shut down, and then I will do another print of that book, but it won't be a campaign for it. It'll probably be available on other campaigns and also like Amazon, and because it'll be second printing, that kind of stuff. And then hopefully I'll get to third printing and fourth printing. I mean, at these numbers that I'm printing at, they're small scale, you know what I mean? So hopefully I'll get to like 10th, 11th printing at this scale, you know what I mean?
Right. The only reason I bring that up is because as a comic book fan, I'm one of those, completionist assholes. And, if I discover something, like I was 22, 23 years old when I discovered one of my favorite comic books of all time, which was Rom Space Knight. And, I spent a couple of years going across the eastern U.S. trying to find back issues in old comic shop. Back when that was still a thing you could do.
I'll be right back since I've heard this story 1,000 times.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's messed up.
But I would go from long box to long box, and one of my greatest accomplishment. Hold on one second.
Hey, everybody. Now that I've got the floor, just want to say back Captain Love. You're going to enjoy the book. It's going to be a load of fun. If you like to have a nice space romp, based in Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, a little bit of Han Solo, some Captain Kirk, you know what I mean? All the fun favorites that you have out there, some James Bond attitude and adventure kind of stylings. Those kinds of things is what you're going to get from Captain Love. So, and then obviously there's a lot of sex appeal. There's actually some nudity. So, if you're going to get one of these books, don't leave it out for anybody you want to keep innocent, because these books are not for the innocent,
That
for
is
the
correct.
innocent of mind.
But sorry, my 5-year-old decided she wanted to ask me a question.
No, I just capitalized on the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely, and you can look at those campaigns.
If you're looking for copies of that book, if you're looking for copies of Rom the Space Knight, you go to eBay. They have basically every issue available. At one point or another.
That's not how I rolled back when it was still possible to go through long boxes. That's just not how I did it. If I couldn't put it in my hands, if I couldn't smell the decaying paper from the bag and the box, no. But nowadays, that's the only way you can get back issues, because comic stores are dying in mass. That's a rant you don't want to go down, because we'll be here till 3 in the morning. Well, I will be. But if you do want to back Captain Love, and you should want to do that, you can go in the description down below, and you will find links to both campaigns: the original Volume 1 one shot and the Volume 2 Chapter 1 campaign. Both are in the
Is he
description
talking
down
about
below.
Secret Wars?
No, not yet.
Oh,
not anymore.
But no, one of my things was I went from long box.
Of course, there's also another. Yeah, there's another really easy way to find Captain Love on the internet, other than searching it. Just go to Indiegogo and search LUV. The first 2 campaigns that come up will be Captain Love campaigns. So just search LUV, and they'll come up.
We had an old parody press creator on once, and his name is Bill Mouse. And I had to ask him before we got him off the show how he felt about any time someone Googled his name, that Mouse, the graphic novel, came up first before anything he did. But no, what I was getting at is, one thing, I'm a completionist, so I went and found a full readable run copy over, I think it was 4 or 5 states by the time I was done, and that was one of my crowning achievements before I got involved in comics Twitter. But that's always been a concern of mine when it comes to a lot of these Indiegogo projects, is I don't know that a lot of creators are thinking about the availability of these books in the future. And I'm glad that you are. You have
no, most people don't. Most.
Good.
Well, I intend to make this a business. I plan way in advance. Like for instance, okay, I invested a lot of money up front. Every single one of my books, before I start the campaign, the book that's on that campaign will be finished. So Chapter 1 was done before I did the campaign for Chapter 1. Chapter 2 is finished illustration. It's finished coloring. It is now in the lettering process. So when I start that campaign, it's basically done. Because I'm doing the lettering, so I'm doing the lettering process, right? If I can't letter a comic book in freaking 60 days, I'm retarded. I'm just saying.
Hey, watch that hard R.
Hey, that hard R. I got your hard R, man. I got your hard R over here.
Oh my.
Ayrton, stand up, give him the hard R. No, I'm just fucking with you.
You fucking asshole. I was taking a sip of scotch when you said that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope it was expensive and you spilled it on the floor.
No, it was Famous Grouse, because I hate you for telling me about that.
Look, grouse is good stuff.
I just know how much it burns to have good scotch in the nostrils. So if you backfired, then bless me.
Not quite a backfire. It was close though.
We've got about 15 more minutes with you before Todd's scheduled to come on. Keep an eye out for him in the waiting room, Ayrton. But
he's there. I sound checked him. He's sounding good.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, anything else? Obviously, we can go through the perks real quick. If you're not a big $100 baller,
No,
and don't
I can simplify the perks for everybody. I can simplify them for everybody.
go
It's
ahead.
real simple. The book itself, shipped, pricing included, $15, right? If you're in the United States, $15, you will get the floppy and the stretch goal stuff. Well, actually, you know what? Stretch goals are over and closed, so there's only going to be a few more books that are shipped out of it that have stretch goals. And I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop stuffing the stretch goal bonus stuff into the books because you didn't back it in time.
Right.
And then if you
Real quick,
but
those
you'll
stretch
still get
goals
the book.
are a trading card, a bookmark, a pinup, 2 bonus pages of art added to Chapter 1, and 2 additional trading cards. So, oh no, the trading cards were not reached in time. So,
Yeah.
So you got 1 trading card, a pinup, and a
Nope,
bookmark.
that was not reached.
Yep. So, if you want that stuff, you
And
you
a
better
handout,
back
actually-
it
you
now.
actually
like
have-
that wasn't reached either.
You actually, technically, you have a pinup, you have a bookmark, you have a trading card, and you have a page, which really is a 2-sided pinup. That, you know what I mean? Because it wasn't actually like added in 2 pages. It wasn't actually added into the book. It's like I decided on a 2-sided pinup because of the reason why is because I didn't want to give it to people that didn't deserve the stretch goals. So if I put it
Right.
actually in the actual book itself, then it would have been, you know, on every book moving forward all the time for everybody, and it wouldn't have been as special.
Right.
So I basically turned it into a 2-sided pinup, and that's what everybody gets instead, which is better. So it's a bonus.
Yeah,
So,
I like that.
And yeah, it's pretty basic. It's a fun one. It's a pose of Captain Love with the logo behind him. You know what I mean? Against white. It's pretty stark. It's kind of original and fresh. I dig it. So
Yeah, and
Cool.
if you
and
want
two
those
such
stretch
different
goals,
poses.
if
And
you
then-
want those stretch goals, you better back it right now. That's all I'm saying. Right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, basically, I only packed. See, I only packed about 300 books with stretch goals in them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is more than I need for who's ordered up to this point. Slightly, not a lot more, but slightly more than I need for who's backed up to this point. So I may or may not include. I mean, I have more, stretch goal materials, but I may decide to put those as a perk. You know what I mean? That
Right.
upgrade and that kind of stuff. Because see, here's the
But-
point of stretch goals. Here's the
But
point of
if you
stretch
see
goals.
my name pop up in there, you might slip those in either way, right?
Yeah, I might, maybe. Some friends might find special stuff, and every once in a while I throw in cool stuff. Yeah, that happens, But my overall point is I a lot of people, because of the way crowdfunding works, they'll like run the crowdfunding all the way to fulfillment. You know what I mean? Which might be
Right.
a year and a half down the road. I fulfill a lot
Yeah.
sooner, right? So I feel as though, it's like because my campaigns run shorter and faster and I fulfill faster, I feel like when I do fulfillment, everybody who backs after fulfillment really kind of should be disqualified from the stretch goal element. You know what I mean?
No,
And-
that
Because
makes sense.
Yeah, that's completely fair,
Yeah.
especially because you've got to worry about, and that's a conversation that I'd love to have you back on for later on down the road, where because funding directly through customers is exactly what this stuff is designed for. But when you have a creator who's reaching into their own pocket to guarantee that everyone that buys this book can get it, even if it costs them money. And then as the campaign raises more money, they add stuff to that campaign. Yeah, if you stumble in while the campaign's still open just because you have copies left
Yeah.
and they already know that you started fulfilling, these people didn't take a chance on you. And, maybe that's not the customer you ship stretch goals to. Maybe that's the customer that gets a Gemini mailer with a comic book in it, And I agree with that. I understand that because it's really about taking the chance in the initial phases. And, the day that you get complete funding and break even or actually make a profit before you've fulfilled a campaign, that might be a different story. But as long as you've got the most vested interest in it, I don't think anybody should be complaining about not getting the extra stuff when they waited until it was safe to buy your book.
Right.
You get what I'm
Wait,
saying?
yeah, it's like whatever. I mean, if yeah, no, I agree with you, man. That's the whole point. I mean, the whole stretch goals thing is to raise the money. You know
Right.
what I mean? And it's like you don't do stretch goal, you don't do no stretch goals after you fulfill. Stretch goals are cut off at fulfillment, and then you can't like reorder new stretch goal materials. You know what I mean? So it's like, how much stretch goal materials do you order? Well, you order that based on how many people backed the book when you got ready to do your print orders. You know what I mean? So because of that's that many people, you know what I mean? That's really where you should cut it off, because it becomes unfair to anybody else. You know what I mean? Now, like I said, a little trickling afterwards, that's not a big deal. But the truth of the matter is, it's like, why should I, continue to give that free stuff, the free cool stuff, to people who didn't back it during the campaign, didn't support it, you know what I mean, at that level, and where I could take that stuff and give it away to people at a convention who are there to celebrate my book with me in person.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like if you think about it, like, I'm giving it away for free. Who should I give it to? Somebody who's cashing in late and treating me like a secondhand bitch, or that's kind of, I'm going off. You guys know what I'm saying. The truth of the matter is, I honestly, yeah. So I seriously, but at the same time, if you really want those backing goals, I could put them all into a little side, thing, and then say, hey, here's stretch goals from campaign 1.
Right, with no additional shipping or anything. I can
make some money on it.
Yeah, I mean,
right. No additional shipping or anything. Exactly.
Yeah, $5-10 add-on when you buy a physical book.
Exactly.
But
right.
you also
can, I mean, it's not like if you want them, you can get them, but yeah.
You can also get your Herbie Hancock on a copy for $20.
You stay off my Herbie Hancock, man.
Look, if you didn't get that joke, you're older than me, but you're not older than me. So that's a Tommy Boy joke. Beginning of the movie.
No. I get it. I get it. But yeah. I get it. I was making a
penis reference. Yes,
out of your Herbie Hancock.
That's right.
Yeah, I was making out of the Jan. Yeah. I still like the John Hancock better. It's like,
Well, I mean, that's a double entendre. But I just think it's funny when people are like, "No, it's John Hancock."
Especially if you're speaking.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, prostitutes prefer the John Hancock.
Oh, absolutely they do, unless you're a cop. But now you have a double tier where you have 1 and 1 signed, and that's 35. And then you have become part of the saga. So you have 2 slots for this open on this campaign, and this is still open even though you've gone into fulfillment. So you're basically saying that in some chapter later on down the road, this second person can still pledge $1,000 and get into it, and they'll.
I have the characters that are the added to the saga. Those characters actually don't necessarily have to appear in the earlier chapters, and because some of the chapters are not in stone yet. You know what I mean? They haven't been drawn. The script hasn't been finalized, because obviously I know better than to do that ahead of time. I've learned my lesson. You don't write your script too far ahead, because your illustrator can possibly go a little off script. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then change shit that, it's like, oh, that actually might have been a better idea. And then that changes the way stuff is written and affects things. And if you've already written stuff, instead of tweaking it, you actually have that new momentum forever. But everything is completely outlined and pretty much written. You know what I mean? But like the actual panels haven't been, they've been noted. They haven't been actually written out into paragraphs of explanation. The dialogue hasn't been actually written. It's just noted. You know what I mean? For those future chapters. And the reason why is because, like I said, I've learned my lesson, is if you get too far ahead of your illustrator, you fuck yourself. So.
Yeah. And now do you, well, shit, I'm eating up your time. That's, what is it? And the variant cover is sold out. Though the variant cover art piece has been sold. So you can still be drawn into to Captain Love.
Yeah.
If you would like to be, you can still be an executive producer and lock in for all of Chapter 1. And you won't have to worry about keeping up with... Now, how are you going to do the future installments of this Chapter 1? Because you said in a month or so you were going to go live with Chapter 2, right? Or Volume 2? Volume 3.
Well, I overran the book. I overran.
Right. No,
So,
but
so I'm running, more books. That's I have like a lot of books. I don't just have the ones that I needed to fulfill. I
no,
overran, so I have books for
no,
the
no.
future.
I
Yeah.
mean, you're gonna do a campaign for Chapter 2 as well. Rise of the Pirate King,
Yes,
Chapter
chapter
2.
2, 3, 4, 5, and
Okay.
6,
Okay.
and then
I think I
because some
misheard
people
you
just
earlier.
back chapter 1. You have some people.
I thought I misheard you, and you said you were going to go live with Volume 3 before, but I must have mistook Chapter 2 with
No, I'm
comic
going to go live
numbering
with
is weird.
chapter 2 in next month.
Comic numbering
No,
is weird.
actually comic numbering is real simple. Comic numbering is really, really simple. It actually comes right down to like you can find it on the
hold your hand
barcode
up,
of the comics.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Ayrton,
5.
I will just boot you from the goddamn server right now. But no, what I mean is, you have
So
chapters of volumes
like comic book,
and all that
yeah.
stuff. But yeah. Anyway.
Well, like if you got to think of it like that, yeah. I mean, if a lot of people have different ways of writing. Some people don't write their books with chapters. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I need to do it in a way that I can afford it. I have to do it in 24 to 32 page chapters. You know what I mean? Which means I can afford to pay for that upfront, right? And then I know that will go into the campaign as long as the market is as it is. I'll make enough on that to pay for the creation of it and pay for the fulfillment, shipping and all that kind of stuff. I'll make enough to cover all that. You know what I mean? Based on how things are currently designed. Ideally, I'll make more than that, and I can apply that to what I've already spent and to the next book moving forward. So I don't have to pull out of my pocket to do the next book. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I will if I have to. So I'm trying to get to the point to where I am paying myself back, as well as having enough to keep everything going. And it's actually kind of easy to do when it's all on a credit card. You know what I mean? Because all I'm doing is taking the money from the campaign and paying down the credit card that was used to pay for the book and to exist on the campaign in the first place. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's it's a really easy cycle that way. Obviously, it costs more than just dollar face because there's interest on credit cards. But it's a business choice that I've made to do it this way so that the books can fulfill faster. And I can get faster to the point, because I don't want to make people wait a year and a half for a single one, for a single volume. I want to be able to keep people engaged.
Shots fired.
I want to get to a point. Yeah.
I'm just fucking with you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just shots.
I don't know what I missed the joke, I guess.
No, shots fired on everybody making people wait 2 years for a comic book.
Oh well,
the bar has been raised.
Who also can't draw feet?
Oh yeah. No, the bar has been raised. I won't make people wait more than 2 months from the end of the campaign.
I mean,
ever.
This book is raising my bar, so I just had to go and back it.
Yeah.
So I want my heartfult
Excellent.
thank you live on air.
Now go ahead.
You'll get a heartfelt thank you. I'll give you a heartfelt thank you. You want to feel the hard thank you?
I do.
There's if there's anything else you want to tell the people about Captain Love, feel free to do so. And then I have one question. And Todd, thank you for joining us and being patient. We will be right with you, buddy.
No problem.
Hey Todd, how's it going, man? I never got a chance to. He was in the chat when we were interviewing Chris on Florida Man on my channel. I didn't get to talk to him other than through the chats. Hey man, how you doing? Good to see you. I love the artwork, dude, and the vehicles are badass, dude. You fucking nailed them fucking cars, man. You nailed them cars in that. Now I gotta ask you, is that last one a Datsun?
On the campaign, there is a Datsun in that picture that was
with
drawn
the black. Yeah, that's it. I was right. I knew it. I knew that was Datsun. I just had to know. Yeah.
Church, we can just sit back and let these two chat.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
We'll just mute ourselves, get drunk.
Yeah. That's all I want to do. Anyway.
No, I'll wait. No, I'll bring Todd on my channel, and we'll do another Florida Man with him on there. Actually, we're supposed to get him and actually supposed to get all three of them, him and Chris. And is it Mike? Is Mike Barron? Is that his name?
Mike Barron. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mike Barron. We're supposed to get all three of them on the channel together to talk Florida Man. I'll save all my questions for them. instead of
Okay.
killing, instead
All
of
right,
you know,
fair enough.
prematurely ejaculating them on your show.
I mean, that's what sells seats. But yeah, anything else you want to tell the people about Captain Love? And then I have one specific question for you, and we're going to jump into Florida Man.
Yeah, the thing I want everybody to know, to take home with them, is that Captain Love is no joke. It's a good book. If you like mature comics, you're not afraid of a little bit of titties and a lot of action and a lot of fun and some violence, and this is the book for you. You know, and you don't have to worry about quality. You'll always have top quality from me. I will make sure I deliver the best thing. These chapters are self-sustained stories and side stories, so there's many different story arcs. You're not getting like a partial whatever. They do obviously have cliffhangers and hang forward.
He won't give
but
you
it's
just a partial, folks. That's the takeaway here.
yeah. I leave you mostly satisfied. But you
That's
want
all any
more.
man can hope to do. Now,
I
I don't know. My point is basically you're gonna love the book. Back that shit.
That's right. That's right. Now, this is a question we're going to have to ask all creators going forward. So, Todd, go ahead and start thinking about your answer. I'm putting Drew on the spot here. Marvel and DC come to you individually, and they basically put a blanket offer on the table, a blank check to write any character for 6 to 12 issues that you want. What are you writing?
What am I writing?
Yeah,
Like the
what-
story
what-
or the numbers on the check?
No.
What character are you writing?
What character are you
Oh,
deciding to
does
take
it-
your series to? It has to be something that's Marvel or DC.
Okay,
can write.
does it have to be one of? It's already one of their characters. Okay, it's already okay. Marvel or DC.
Mhm.
Right. Any character? Damn, that's a good question.
Yeah, any
All
character.
right, you know what I would do? Okay,
Yeah.
this would piss everybody off because it's completely like out of the norm. I would revise Nomad. I would make Nomad a badass motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
Bring him the
Okay,
fuck back.
I can dig it.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Yeah,
That's a good answer.
because Nomad was a badass, and he didn't get enough justice, didn't get enough love, and I would bring him back and make him the next level shit right there. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
And no ganking our question on your show now.
Oh no, he's totally gonna
No,
steal
it's
it.
okay.
That's trademark the Gospel of Comics.
That's right.
Can you trademark the question? I think you can.
I mean, you could trademark anything. I don't know.
No,
if
that's
you
a good
can fit
question
it
though.
in court. Oh no, don't play yet.
But yeah, Nomad would be my first choice.
Okay.
Nomad, I could come up with a lot of different like if they're like Nomad, we don't want to do Nomad again, I could easily have a second choice. But yeah, Nomad would be my first choice because little Bucky, and geez, man, all the fucking shit that he did. I mean, there's so many different story arcs that he did that are in his history. The places that you could take it are insane, man.
Right.
Especially,
that's a great answer.
Yeah.
Definitely
I would
not
love
what I
that
was
one.
expecting.
So
Todd, are you going to think about yours a bit longer, or do you have one already?
Oh,
I would
I
ask
It
you
would
about
even be smart because even if they were gonna bring in the back to the if they're gonna bring the Avengers back, because Nomad technically was one of the Avengers at one point, you know what I
Right.
mean? So it's even that level would be kind of cool. I'm sorry, I digress. Sorry, go ahead.
All right, go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, and I would
was
ask
a
you.
huge Daredevil fan.
I would ask you about drawing,
Church,
obviously, as
shut
far as
up.
illustration. Fuck you, Ayrton. It's my show. I'll do what I like.
He was about to answer. Todd, just talk over church.
Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I would draw Daredevil and Heartbeat. It's probably the only real one that I would do right now. I can't think of anything else. Maybe Kazar.
Ooh,
Kazar's
yeah.
really underdeveloped, underused character.
Right.
And I love to draw those jungle backgrounds and stuff.
Okay.
Kind of
yeah.
hit those Frazetta notes as far as foliage and stuff. So maybe
Ooh, Frazetta, yeah.
Yeah, I can dig it.
So Todd,
And the beauty of something like that is obviously you can crossovers. You can do crossovers. You could add with Daredevil. You could add a fucking little Punisher in there if you were in a Punisher mood. You could add whatever because they Daredevil's is a well known crossover book.
right,
So.
and everything that happens in the Marvel universe happens in New York City. So,
Right.
Todd, Ayrton booked
You
you.
just have to draw one background
I
once.
was familiar with the Florida Man, comic going live. I did not know much about you until I examined the campaign. He said, "Hey, I got the artist from Florida Man that wants to come on." So please, by all means, introduce yourself to the audience who might not know you. I'll get your link to the Florida Man campaign down in the description, and we'll go from there.
All right, I'm Todd Mulrooney, artist of Florida Man, working with Mike Barron, a 46-year veteran in the comics industry. I've been lucky. This is my third Eisner winner that I've worked with. I've worked with Paul Kupperberg on a character called Blank, but the Eisner, I did a Michael W. Barr cover for his prose novel, Once a Wizard, and I also worked with James Hudnall on a cover. So those are the guys that I was lucky enough to work with. I have about 3 years of professional experience, I guess you could say, where I'm getting, I was in the graveyard shift to a supplemental book. I guess it's not professional, but I have three years of published work, but doesn't really amount to much. Some of it's just covers here and there. I did a cover for a heavy metal comic.
Oh man,
And
heavy metal is like one of my cult classic favorites. I often sit here
Oh
and
yeah,
wonder
Church loves that shit.
why heavy metal hasn't been optioned for like UK Netflix yet. Like that would make a perfect syndicated show for Netflix or something in the UK because it's already an anthology. So, but anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, and that's about it. I mean, I dabbled in comics in my 20s. I was supposed to do a Razor comic. Razor was London Night Studios. She was sort of a heavy-breasted girl with claws that were more like gauntlets. They kind of swooped out in front of her.
Right.
But that they closed their doors just I was getting going, and there was also Full Moon. I was going to do some work with Full Moon, and they closed their doors just after they had gotten going, and only a handful of books ever came out from Full Moon. So there was this sort of idea that maybe this isn't for me, and I got away from it for a number of years, and now here I am back, and we're doing Florida Man, and I look at Florida Man as sort of me putting my name on the map. I mean, I know I was in John Malin's Graveyard Shift too, but this is really a joint venture with me and Mike, and these are characters that I've created as far as their visual look and stuff. So this is definitely me giving my all.
And you mentioned Mike.
Now,
Because you're not the writer of the book, I will go ahead and do a brief credit. And Drew, if you want to circle back and talk about your illustrator and colorist, we can do that once we get through the Florida Man campaign. Mike Barron, it says here in the campaign, is a renowned author of numerous novels and several comic books, including Marvel and DC's Flash, Punisher, and Star Wars. But he's perhaps best known for Nexus, his groundbreaking science fiction indie comic co-created with illustrator Steve Rude. So that's the Mike that Todd's referring to. Anyway, just to kind of let everybody know who Mike is.
Yeah. Here's really the way you can put him in perspective, right? In the 80s, there was a couple of top selling books. You had Teen Titans from DC, you had the X-Men, and you had Thor, Walt Simonson's Thor. And Nexus cracked the top 10. It was the first independent comic book to ever do so.
Right. Right. At least among release, like, you had a couple of well, depending on the time in the '80s, but you had a couple of breakouts, but none of
Yeah,
them
this
upon
is way
release.
before the Turtles. And stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I was unfortunately born in the late '80s, so my first introduction to comics was like early '90s, so I kind of got sucked into that bubble. But I've obviously worked my way backwards and seen some of the great stuff that the '80s put out. I'd have to say, if I had to pick a favorite era of comics, it would be the late '70s to the mid '80s, right before the bubble started growing at the end of the '80s and into the '90s with the mega events and the variant covers and shit.
That's the best era. That's definitely the best era of heavy metal magazine.
Oh yeah, but
If you read heavy metal, those are the best years right there.
oh yeah, absolutely. It definitely falls off hill right around the time that they started optioning a movie, I think. But you like Drew here have a video. Well, someone has a video up on the Florida Man campaign, so I've got that pulled up for the audience. I'm gonna go ahead and hit play on that. If you guys in the Discord look in the live show chats, which is right above, it's at the top of show channels, the place you're in. I'm gonna put a link to that video so that everybody can watch it, because unfortunately I can't pipe audio through because I'm terrible. So I'll grab the link here. Come on, nope. Just give me the link. Just copy the link. That's all I want. There we go. All right. So there's the link. If you guys want to pull it up and let me know when you're ready, I will play that for the audience, and we will jump into the Florida Man campaign.
Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
All right. I'm gonna hit play in 3, 2,
Go ahead.
1, now.
Hey man, y'all got beer still?
You've seen the stories. Now, writer Mike Barron and artist Todd Mulrooney are bringing the quintessential Florida man, Gary Duba, to life. Gary's just a regular guy living in a trailer with his girlfriend Crystal, but he's got dreams, big dreams. He just invented house suspenders that will secure any home to the ground in rough weather. And now he's going to show them off on Piranha Pool, the TV show where venture capitalists and entrepreneurs pony up if they like your pitch. But when his gal Crystal gains notoriety as an infamous amateur wrestler, she quickly advances to the pro circuit, where her greatest challenge is an angry Australian grappler. Follow Gary and Crystal on their extraordinary journey from rags to riches. To rags, to riches, to rags, to riches. All while dealing with shady lawyers, toilet snakes, wild gators, cheating hearts, feral hogs, and problem shoppers. Back Florida Man today and reserve your very own copy of the Florida Man graphic novel. We're bringing back funny books, y'all.
That's fantastic. Being from the South, I'm not offended in the least. I feel like I don't know where Drew is from, but I know Ayrton is. He has origins in the South, but he's not Southern. Me personally, I know this guy that you're writing the comic, or that you're drawing the comic for. I personally know Florida Man. It might be a different one, but I know that guy. But
it certainly has become sort of a badge of shame, right?
I mean, not in the Southeast.
Yeah,
it's a badge of pride.
So we have a local morning show.
There's
Detroit. They have a segment called "Man, Florida's effed up," that I think they do like 4 times a week, with just stories from Florida.
Yeah. On the talk radio here, they used to have a show. It's not done anymore. There was a DJ that specialized in what they would call freak news, and they would talk about something that was just happened, that was like completely messed up. You know what I mean? Somebody like did something just completely stupid and destroyed themselves, or just something freakish happened. And they would always like, and the line that you would hear almost every day. And of course, this guy is from Florida.
Well, lately in the news,
We're obviously
this is so amazing.
Yeah, we're obviously leaning into the idea of, Gary's the quintessential Florida man. It's as if he had done all those things, those headlines, those memes, and it's as if there was one person behind it all.
Right.
And Gary ends up in one situation after another. He's trying to get rich, and he's trying to get in, and he's trying to get out of jail every time he gets in it. So,
like you do. I mean, nobody likes being in jail.
Right.
And there are actually some people that do, believe it or not. I trip out on that, but some people prefer it to the outside life.
Well, I mean, once you've been in there long enough,
as that might be.
But
Yeah.
But
well, it's like that one Persian
Yeah,
dude or whatever that lived in the Paris airport for like 18 years.
Now,
yeah. Well, if you're cool with prison rape, if you're cool with prison rape, it's 3 hots in a cot. If prison rape doesn't bother you,
Well, I mean, maybe if you're the one doing it, I guess.
Depends on who it is.
I mean, if you're Florida man, obviously you're the alpha Chad in the jail. You smuggled an alligator in your bum. Now, the second piece of artwork specifically.
Tuesday.
If you wait, hold on. I have to interject. If you can fit an alligator in your bum, you're gonna be really popular in jail.
Well, I mean, I don't think you will be actually.
Again, that's just a Tuesday in Florida.
But the second image on the campaign here, does this take any inspiration from Tiger King at all? Because that's the entire vibe that I get from this guy in front.
No, not at all. That these characters and this picture were done before that. I had ever watched that. So
that's just,
I mean,
that's just an archetype.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, that's that whole thing. I did a meme about it, where I used my characters and kind of put him. Like, because he's really not from Florida, right? So it was sort of like, you're honorary. We're going to just call you a Florida man because you're an honorary a-hole king or something like that. It was some, I'm paraphrasing, but, it was something I had done early on.
Well, the second thing that struck me.
Just, these images are just too much. The moonshine sanitizer.
Well, that's
smoking a bandit theme playing while they're driving.
That's one thing that I needed to bring up.
What about Habib Rodriguez?
Well, I got to talk about moonshine
Habib Rodriguez
real quick, because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but a lot of the illegal alcohol that's imported is disguised as other things like hand sanitizer and like cleaning products and shit like that.
Oh, I'm aware.
So moonshine sanitizer just makes me all warm and fuzzy inside because I know these people. Like this is literally the culture I grew up around. Like I am in Toadsuck, Arkansas. You can imagine like these are my people. But anyway, go ahead and talk to the people about Florida Man. How did you become involved with this project? Like, what was the conversation like? Hey, I have this story about this one dude that commits all these crimes.
Well, that would have been funny, but no, it was more organic. It was, Mike had known some of the guys I mentioned were friends of his, right? Like James Hudnall and Mike W. Barr. These guys are veterans of the comic industry. So he somehow got a hold of me and said, hey, can you, work on these characters? And I have this idea, and we might have a publisher involved. At the time, it's not called Chaotic. I forget. It was Ben Henderson. So I generated the characters. Originally, I'll tell you, because you might know this. Originally, Gary looked a little more like Tickle. You know who Tickle is?
I do not.
No. There was a show on like A&E or Discovery that's called Moonshiners, and Tickle's this guy who just
Oh,
can't
I
keep
do. I
himself out
know.
of fucking jail on that.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I just haven't thought about that show in like 5
Yeah.
years.
Right, and he worked with the guy Tim, who his day job was like the chief of fire, the fire station or something like that. So he had to keep distancing himself from Tickle because he never, because he's living a dual life as a shiner and his other life as a chief of, of the firehouse. So he just had to keep like pushing himself away from Tickle. But anyway, so originally Tickle kind of looked more like that character, and then he sort of morphed into something because the bio I was given for him was that he was sort of a skinhead. And I didn't want him to look like a white supremacist skinhead, so I gave him a more Latino look. So Gary has some Cuban in him. And Floyd, obviously Floyd.
I have Tickle up on the screen for the audience.
And he probably had some more Cuban in him after he went to prison, right?
Yeah. Originally, he looked a little bit more like that. And that really fit what I had in my head. And then I just took it from there. I usually do this with characters.
Right.
Is they're generated out of an idea of amalgamation of two people. Someone who has a strong jaw, but I like their, hair or whatever. It's just something that I do to finally get to the point where I have what I want. And so Tickle was part of the genesis of that character. And Floyd, Floyd was sort of this ginger Irish kind of background, and he takes the whole trope of redneck all the way. He looks more redneck than anyone in the book.
He does.
So
anybody that cuts the sleeves off of a long sleeve and or short sleeve button down shirt is definitely committed to the bit.
True.
Right.
I mean, I do have a flannel with the sleeves cut off for when I'm working outside, like on my car.
Yeah, that's just when you need to put on your camouflage or your disguise when you try and infiltrate Southern gatherings. But I'm on to you.
I was born.
When I hear about somebody. When I hear about somebody working on their car in a tank top or with their sleeves off, I think about people who've never had oil shoot at them.
No,
or hot fluids come flying at.
You have to understand
I got covered in gas just a few weeks ago.
You have to understand that it's a rite of passage in the South to cook bacon with your shirt off to man you up for those types of things.
Definitely been there.
Yeah.
Bacon grease on the nips. That's not fun.
Yeah, that's worse than oil shooting out all over your face. Even like a bacon grease splatter on your nipples is the worst feeling in the world.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
Like I'd rather get hit
hot coffee in your lap when you're hot coffee in the lap when you're only wearing boxer shorts. That one hurts.
Yeah, that can't be pleasant. But I don't drink coffee in only boxers. It's either nude or in a robe at least. Sorry.
Well, I imagine if you spilled hot coffee in your lap nude, and that might be worse. At least the boxers would catch some of the.
No, you definitely
splatter.
don't spill when you're drinking coffee nude. Just so you understand, like it's a fucking Neo type thing. But Todd, go ahead.
Not more than twice, hopefully.
He didn't sign up for this, Drew. Let him speak.
Sorry,
after designing After designing the characters, I did 3 pages, and then this cover. And Mike shopped it around because he has connections, and it didn't really catch any traction. And I know if you know Ben Henderson, he kind of floats in and out.
Yeah, I know Ben.
He's gung ho one day, and next day he's gone and completely gone for like 2 weeks, and he'll come back and go, "Hey, we're gonna start live streaming again, and we're gonna start doing this and this and this," and he gets everyone all excited, and then he slips out again. So I'm not really sure. This guy that Ben doesn't have like OCD or something, but eventually we
say
got
what you will
this-
about the gospel. At least we stream at least once a week.
At least.
we got to this point where everyone had known this cover, right? This cover had made the rounds,
Right.
and Chris Brawley of Bleeding Cool asked Mike and said, "Hey, Mike, when's this thing coming out? When's Florida Man coming?" And so they had an organic conversation, and next thing you know, here we are today. We're obviously definitely doing this. We're doing great on this campaign, and there's some things in the works in the background that might put it to where we're doing this for the next couple of years.
Well, I definitely.
But
hope
either
so.
way, I mean,
Ayrton was going. Ayrton and Drew were talking about your depictions of vehicles. Living in the South, obviously we do rounds on the dirt track circuit for T-shirts. That's what I do for a living. I design T-shirts and I work with embroidery and stuff like that. And with the dirt track circuit, everybody wants their car on their shirt, down to the specifics where, the rear fender doesn't match because it had to be replaced because it's a dirt track.
The specific rust spot.
Right. And, your vehicles are absolutely beautiful. Like, if I could pay you to draw all of the vehicles that I have to deal with every year, I'd probably be out thousands of dollars by the time I was done with it, but they would look phenomenal. And Drew was talking about that when you first came on, and I have to definitely agree. Let me get a couple of them in the focus here for the audience.
I need to stop looking at your images while you're talking because I keep wanting to laugh. You're just.
But yeah, you've got the Winnebago.
So Habib Rodriguez. I'm sorry. Hold on, Church.
Go ahead.
I need to ask the phone number under Habib Rodriguez. Did you try calling that to see if that's an actual phone number or not?
that is an actual phone number. You go ahead and you call it live. You might get a good laugh out of it.
I mean, don't tempt me because I will.
You have to put it on speaker
really
loud.
I'll put it on speaker. Anyway.
But yeah,
I'm kind of nervous, but
your
I'm
vehicles
do it
and your backgrounds and stuff like that, like it's really good stuff. I definitely like it. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is a lazy background and an art piece.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to throw in your chat here a page that I'm working on right now.
Wait. Hold on. I missed the first bit of that automated message. Hold
on. we can't barely hear it. I mean, I can hear that it's an automated message, but I can barely hear it over the speaker. So you'll have to.
You want me to see if I can get it through my phone for you guys? I can get it loud for you.
Yeah, by all means.
My mic wouldn't pick it up.
I mean, it picked it up. It just was really quiet.
Oh man, that's.
It's okay. I'll remedy that right now.
All right.
I wonder if I can do it. Can I do it through my?
The Walt Disney World Resort. Our office is currently closed. For answers to frequently asked questions, please press 1 to use our automated system. Keep in mind that agents will not be available to take your call. For vacation planning resources and online reservations, you can visit us online at DisneyWorld.com.
It's unfortunate
Our hours
that
of operation are Sunday through Saturday.
It's unfortunate that you're not getting like mouse bucks for this, because that's hellacious marketing for the mouse.
That is fantastic. Whose idea was that?
Oh, that was mine.
That is amazing. I love that so much.
You know who helped me with the sign, with the lettering and stuff? That was John Dillard. I came up with the phone number.
Look, I love Dillard.
The number and
Nah, I don't hate Dillard. You hate you and Dillard are the ones with the beef.
No, you're the one with the beef. I'm the one that just gives him shit. Don't fuck up the lore, man. Keep it straight. I love him because he drew me.
Nah.
He drew me like one of his French Let me know where you're posting that in the Discord.
So,
by the way. Show suggestions. There you
oh,
go.
it's show
Show
suggestions. There's two more of it. Well, it's one of the you've seen the truck before, but in the background it's very small here. But that's I forgot what I used. Oh, it's a Plymouth. That's a Plymouth.
Oh yeah, that's like old Plymouth Diplomat. Isn't that what that's supposed to be?
Not
Like
the
old
Diplomat.
Plymouth. Not the Diplomat.
No, I'll have to look at my files if I remember. Can't believe I forgot.
There we go.
Yeah, I can't see
like
the car detailed enough.
The police Plymouth that they used in like Dukes of Hazzard. I thought that was a Diplomat.
Let's see what I have in my.
I can't handle just your artwork on this book. I can't imagine what reading this is going to be like.
We're talking about the truck there that I've got up on screen.
I don't have the stream up. I have the campaign.
Well, I mean that's the only. Well, no, there's another vehicle on the other side of that panel. Let me scroll over there. Oh yeah.
Oh okay.
Yeah, that's the Apache right there.
So yeah, there's
on my live stream, I actually went and found an actual picture of that truck and demonstrated that it was a dead ringer for it.
No, what that truck is a 1956.
Is that a Duster? Is that Plymouth a Duster?
Yeah, I think it is
a
Duster. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a Duster. When you get up close like that, it looks like a Duster to me. So,
are your art files finalized?
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Are my what?
Are the art files finalized? Like, are they already set to print? It's just this black line cutting into the tire bothers me. I know it's super zoomed in on the panel and it doesn't matter, but zoomed in like this, it bothers me so much.
It'll get fixed. It'll get fixed. It'll get fixed in coloring process.
Right?
Watch.
Yeah.
That's
ignore.
Yeah, that's not in the. It's still whip. That page has actually got a lot more work to do.
Okay, all right. It's just that's the one thing that I'm focused on. Like I'm looking at this beautiful car and I'm like, why is this black line interfering with my car experience? I'm not even a car guy, but anytime someone can draw a car.
Hold the pic of the chicks fighting.
Oh, on this page? I don't think there's a picture of chicks fighting on this page.
No, go back to the campaign, scroll down a bit, you'll see a redhead beating the fuck out of a blonde, which I like.
Oh, well, of course you do.
You like redheads that beat up blondes?
He loves redheads, redhead, period.
Really. Yeah, I can't help it.
And I love professional wrestling. We were actually talking. We were talking about Dude Love before you came on, Todd.
Well, do you like redheads? Do you like
Dude Love?
Saying, do you like redheads the rest of the month too, or just that one time?
Oh no, all the time.
I think he was making a Red Wings joke, Ayrton.
I hope that a lot of people missed that joke.
I know. I have my Red Wings. Come on, who doesn't?
Me, because that's weird.
I mean,
usually you don't know. You get your Red Wings by accident normally.
Yeah, usually it's by accident.
Oh no, I asked. But but no, this is.
I'll just say, never mind. Never mind. I won't say.
We're not having this conversation. Todd didn't sign up for this. I feel bad for Todd. I guess
no, you're fine. You're fine.
Well, that's what my wife tells me.
I met Todd. Okay, I just need to
Ooh,
say,
you know
I'm
what?
so sorry, Todd. I met you on a debate about theology on Dillard's channel, and I brought you into this. I apologize.
No, but
yeah, it's my fault, Todd. It's me. It's me.
Dillard and
it's Drew's
Dillard
fault.
and Rick Piper are fairly good friends of the channel. We talked about the Canadian Shield and the Buckler many a times. So we're real familiar with those guys. And Dillard actually did one of my my favorite pieces that depicts the church as a literal church rising out of the ground in the form of a building. It's fantastic.
Yeah, but he didn't draw me.
Well, I mean,
The
you're one
hell,
of the
Dillard.
statues. Again, you two are feuding. Why would he draw you? Now, we were talking about
What?
professional
I still
wrestling to a
want to know,
minor
when did me and
capacity.
Dillard start feuding?
It's you and no, it's Denny and Dillard, isn't it? It's not you and Denny or Dillard.
No, it's me and Denny. Me and Denny hate each other.
Oh, okay. You're gonna have to deal with that because I pay him to do artwork. So, we were talking about professional wrestling with Drew because Captain Love always makes me think of Dude Love, and I honestly think that the campaign song that was done for Captain Love should have been the song slightly altered that Dude Love came out to. I mean, Dude Love to the rescue would have been a fantastic intro for that guy, and is catchy as fuck. What is your background with professional wrestling? Like, were you a consumer of it, or did you kind of have to like educate yourself to get to this panel that we've got up on screen?
Well, there's two answers to that. When I was young, I was absolutely a consumer.
Okay.
I'm from the Northeast, so we had, what prominently dominated the Northeast was early WWF.
Right.
So you had Captain Lou Albano, Frank Blassie, Grand Wizard of Wrestling, this and that. All these colorful managers along with the colorful wrestlers. Obviously, you know how wrestlers come in and out of territories, so we got to see, people come and go.
That era, the territory era, was actually like littered with the idea that wrestlers were basically like superheroes and supervillains. That was kind of like the selling point. Like, even if you just had like, I don't know, somebody that was a trash man or something like that, they were, billed as a superhero or a supervillain, regardless of everything. And it was only once the Attitude Era started in like the late 90s or the mid 90s, I guess, that you kind of got to shift away from that to a more meta commentary in the wrestling world. But yeah, what people don't remember is that like Hulkamania was real. Like, Hulk Hogan would come into a wrestling ring and beat the shit out of a 7-foot tall dude that weighed 500 pounds, and people believed it because they thought he had fucking superpowers. Like, it was literally an art
did he
of
not have
depicting
superpowers?
Well, I mean, when he hulked up, he absolutely did in my fucking 7-year-old mind. But his match with Andre the Giant, his match with Andre the Giant, if you were the target demographic at that time, which was, I don't know, 8 years old to 25, when Hulk ripped that shirt off and started like shaking his fist back and forth, like, you knew some shit was about to go down. And the fact that an 8-foot tall, 500-pound man couldn't put him in his place, that was creating a suspension of disbelief that comic books do in real life. And I feel like there's always kind of an analogy between professional wrestling and comic books that a lot of creators either don't know about because they weren't wrestling fans, or they think wrestling's stupid because it's all fake, or most wrestling fans don't read comic books because comic books are too expensive.
You ever watch Rocky 3? That scene with with Hulk Hogan as Thunder Lips?
Absolutely,
against Sylvester Stallone.
Yes, 100%.
I think, as far as watching it as a kid, I lasted to about the time that Hulk went to NCW and had black handlebars and at the end of his mustache, and so that was sort of my end. But during that, by the way, my father lived in
95, 96 era. Yeah.
Right. So my end, or during that, by the way, my dad lived in Florida, and my dad used to drop me off at the West Palm Beach Auditorium, which had wrestling, and I forget, the same night every week. And I got to see matches with Dusty Rhodes and the Funks and Ric Flair and the Horsemen, or the Blackjack Mulligan and Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo, Sweet Brown Sugar, and all these guys from that time. I was seeing them every week, and that would really be tied to the whole TBS Gordon Solie. Gordon Solie actually would tape about 8 different shows that would appear all the way from Georgia down to the bottom of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And not all taped in the same place. Sometimes they were him just voicing over matches that they recorded during the week at events, and they would just sort of edit them up, and he would just voice over as if he were there, and sometimes he wasn't there. I didn't know this when I was young, though.
Right.
So, yeah, Florida wrestling I was big into.
Go ahead.
No, I was a huge Dusty Rhodes fan. I don't know why, but I was really big into Dusty Rhodes.
When I was first introduced to Dusty Rhodes, he was basically an announcer for WCW, and like that was way before his kids got involved. Like Cody Rhodes is hot shit right now. Like his kids just like coast off of his name. Kind of like Charlie Sheen. But no, anyway.
I don't know. The spots always got me with Dusty Rhodes. I'm always like, what the fuck's the polka dots about? That was the part that I always like.
That was a WWF basically cucking him. That really wasn't his idea.
Yeah, no.
They didn't want him to be the same.
Yeah, Dusty Rhodes got the shit end of the stick because he came from the territories, and WWF liked to basically distance themselves from the characters that were created outside of their property because they didn't really respect the territories because they were already a national broadcast. They thought the territories were like lightweight division, like they were the minor leagues if we're comparing wrestling to baseball. WWF was the majors in their eyes, and until Ted Turner bought WCW and brought over Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan, they had no competitors. So imagine if baseball only had the Yankees, and the Yankees had to play the Yankees every week. And then, the Braves show
Well, you remember
up.
Gold Dust and Stardust, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
That was like a thing.
No, but Dustin Rhodes, like his kid, he had a lot of creative control over that particular character. Dustin Rhodes did. But Dusty Rhodes, he was just